Hi, everyone. Hope this finds you well. This edition of our YouTube Drasha, one of the most amazing miracles in history, is the miracle of our sustenance in the wilderness. And that's what I would like us to try to dwell on for the next few moments. If you think of the manna, the man from heaven, you see that it was a miracle that was constant. It was a miracle that ingrained a certain personality and perhaps was one of the most important factors in the development that was the 40 years of traversing the desert. My Rabbi, Rav Shimon Isaacson Shlita, Rosh Yeshiva now in Mibaseret, Rabbi Isaacson is a lawyer in his previous professional life. He describes this miracle in great detail. And I remember this Devar Torah. I used to sit in his lectures and be in his program. Maybe the lecture wasn't 7 hours, but the program with him and under his direction, and I shifted around courses to make sure that I was with him under his tutelage for 7 hours a day back in 2001, 2002. And he describes that it's a strange description of the man. And he explains that Devar Yom B'Yomo, every day, they're going to be able to collect, and twice on Friday, a double apportionment, and none on Shabbos. But he explains Laman Anasenu, so that I will test them. Well, what's the test? The test is that they cannot hoard it. Test is that they have to trust that the next day it will rain down. And that takes a lot of inner strength to go to sleep at night, to be in the middle of the wilderness, to not know where your sustenance, nutrition is going to come from. That's a big deal. And the man really represents something very powerful about the relationship between man and sustenance. And there's another test that's described. And this is a test that's described by the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, important classic commentary. And the Or HaChaim says, it's not a test of sustenance. It's a test of what you're going to do with your time. If the Almighty is providing for them, and they don't have to do any farming, they don't have to do any work, and the food is going to come down, so the test is, what are you going to do with all that time that you don't have to be providing for your family? And the Pasuk tells us here, as we're analyzing chapter 16, Perek Tezayin, Pasuk Daled, verse 4, and we see the message that's latent herein. Hayelech b'sorasi. Are they going to abide by this or not? And we see when it comes to this bread from the skies, it comes directly from God. There is a kind of sanctity to it. When it comes to being makriv a korban, bringing a sacrifice, most famously, of course, in the Beis HaMikdash, so you cannot leave anything over until the next day. There's a certain sanctity to it. You can't have leftovers. It has to be fully consumed. It's that important. When you have manna from heaven, you can't leave it over for the next day. Every day there's this miracle. There's this confirmation, God's existence. There's this extreme kindness of God to us. Very powerful. And I really do think it ranks up there because every single day for 40 years. Now, you would tell me it's not every single day. Didn't happen on Shabbos. The truth is, what was it? It was a miraculous weather pattern, if you will. It was a miraculous precipitation because Shabbos, it didn't fall. That the pattern is what the miracle was, and what the test was, to trust that it would continue. Such consistent weather patterns, and wouldn't that be something? Be nice, but it really ingrained within us a realization over those 40 years. Our foundation is that to a great extent, the Jewish people's existence miraculous Sustenance is miraculous. Partnership with the Almighty in providing is part of what's necessary to exist and part of the miracle. And so that's what was going on for 40 years, as the verse uncharacteristically states explicitly that this happened for the entire duration till entering the land of Israel. And this is important, as the Or Chaim says, because what are we going to do with our time? And so my Rabbi, Rabbi Isaacson, he shares a mashal. He says, you have a bank, and the local bank, the community bank's offering a promotion. It's a great promotion because they're going to attract a lot of attention. That they're going to give out $86,400 every single day, with one catch. You have to spend that amount of money every single day. They're going to provide that to you for the rest of your life. But if you don't spend it every single day, then you're going to risk having won this promotion. And so the same is true with the 86,400 seconds that exist in every single day. What are we going to do with that gift? We can't get it back. We can't hold it over until the next day. How we utilize our time and the God-given sustenance that we have, that's the question. How are we going to spend our time? How are we going to be able to utilize this great luxury that we have of being able to provide and not going out and needing to work for in the ground as our ancestors did as well? And there's a certain luxury to that. And are we able to appreciate every miracle that comes with that, every second that exists? We think of the time that we are given. Our bodies are miraculous. Might not be as miraculous as man coming from the heavens, but to some extent it is. If you think of the intricacy of the human body, on some level it might be. And so we have that challenge. We can draw that inspiration because we also, just like our ancestors, have 86,400 seconds to make the most of our day. We can't carry anything over. We have to make the best use of it. And that's very difficult, very challenging, but should give us motivation, because the gift of time, in a sense, is the greatest gift of all. What the Jewish people were afforded, and what we strive for as well, is to find our identity, develop our sense of selves. Just like the Jewish people had this foundation that they were able to develop over the first 40 years of their existence, we have that ability every day to define ourselves accordingly as well. Thank you all. Please be in touch as we continue to study remotely, virtually. Have a great Shabbos. All the best.